What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right. We got some interesting news related to Eddie Hearn and his DAZN app. And I got to tell you, man, it's not his DAZN app. Please excuse me. I mean, interesting information as it relates to the Perform Group and the app that they have announced where they're trying to get boxing matches on their app. They had struck an agreement with Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Promotions or Matchroom Boxing, I can't remember which one it is, Matchroom Boxing, whatever, to televise these boxing matches. And it was supposed to be $1 billion deal over 2 years. You remember all that stuff he's really excited about? Well, it seems like cats with a lot of money ain't just sitting around waiting on everybody to figure out what they're going to do. They have partnered with the World Boxing Super Series as an American broadcast partner, and with bringing major competition on that platform to Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn has that 1 year deal. That $1 billion deal, which was announced over 8 years, and only has 2 years guaranteed. Now he's competing for money on that platform with a absolutely organization that is stacked with boxing matches. I am somebody who absolutely positively am not interested in paying any more money for boxing matches. I have Showtime. I have HBO. I have the doggone ESPN app. I got that for golf, admittedly, and in tennis when they put the tennis on. So the fact that boxing matches are on it, I'll just like with HBO and Showtime, I'll live with that. But the DAZN app, I had no intention whatsoever of getting that app for the boxing matches that were going to be presented by Matchroom. Matchroom, so far, from what I know, has signed one significant boxer to that match, to that deal so far. And it's just what I've heard. There might be others, and that being Dimitri Bivol. Who is Dimitri Bivol gonna box? I have no clue. What other championship boxers are gonna be on that platform? But now it seems that I might be willing to buy DAZN because there's going to be some major boxing matches on DAZN because of the partnership with the World Boxing Super Series. Dan Raphael wrote an article that came out, that might have been yesterday, but I caught news of it this morning, and he announced it. And he's happy. Dan Raphael's happy because Eddie Hearn kind of went out of his way to make him look bad with that whole Dillian White is about to face Luis Ortiz little con job that he pulled that embarrassed Dan Raphael. Not that I have a problem with Dan Raphael being embarrassed. He's a big boy, and honestly, he's written some things that I've not been happy with over the years. But hey, it is what it is. With this one, hey man, you can read in this little end of it. He's got a little angst for Eddie Hearn. World Boxing Super Series finally has an American broadcast partner, the Perform Group. Noting hardcore boxing fans' desire for an American outlet, has acquired the rights to the second season of tournaments and will show all 3 8-man tournaments on its DAZN and its All Sports DAZN subscription streaming service, which launches soon in the U.S. Multiple sources with knowledge of the deal told ESPN. The World Boxing Super Series second season will kick off this fall with tournaments at the bantamweight and junior welterweight divisions, and a third division to be announced. The WBSS World Boxing Super Series first season had tournaments in the super middleweight and cruiserweight divisions, with only a few quarter bouts airing on DirecTV's audience network, but with no American outlet for the semifinals, or at least so far the finals, which will take place later this summer. The DAZN deal with World Boxing Super Series is separate from its recently announced 8-year, $1 billion deal, in parentheses. Dan Raphael makes sure he says only 2 years guaranteed. The $250 million deal with Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn to provide the service with regular boxing shows. Let's do the math here, okay? Let's do the math. Well, first of all, let's go and look at some of the names that are going to be in this tournament that we know about already. Regis Prograis, Relic, Branachek. I believe Maurice Hooker is going to be in the 140 pound tournament. Those are just 4 of them. The bantamweight tournament has guys like Zolani Tite and Noah the guy from Japan whose name I always butcher. They got Monster in that tournament. That, my friend, is some solid people on that card. Those are guaranteed championship bouts. Several of these guys are going to be in every one of those divisions, are going to have major championship bouts. And it's something that I want to see. I'm ecstatic for this. This is good because if the World Boxing Super Series can't be shown on Showtime, right? It can't be shown on Showtime. It's not shown on HBO. It's not shown on ESPN. Right now, I want to see all those boxing matches since I'm a hardcore avid boxing. I'm an avid boxing fan. So I've watched all the bouts in the World Boxing Super Series that took place last year, the 168 pound tournament, the cruiserweight tournament. Had great boxing matches like Usyk versus Gassiev that is coming up. Usyk, I can't remember who Usyk fought. Dorictos versus Gassiev. Mike Perez was on that card. It's 168 pounds. You had some really entertaining bouts with George Groves, Callum Smith, Chris Eubank, Callum Smith. They had a whole lot of very solid boxing matches on there that you cannot get in the United States. So for a guy like me who loves boxing, I love that. And I can't wait, and I'm happy about that. And when I criticized Eddie Hearn's deal, I was like, why are you going to use, he was trying to use the money from DAZN as a platform by which to take boxers off of networks that were already showing those boxers. He's basically trying to take Showtime boxers and move them to DAZN. Probably take HBO boxers, moving them to DAZN. ESPN boxers, moving really Showtime. Because the only people that I know of him really going at that he said he wanted was the PBC boxers, the boxers that didn't have promotional contracts, right? I'm not sure how the situation with Bivol came about, but whatever's clever. If Bivol wants to do that, that's all good. I think Bivol's a good boxing, and with that amount of money that you say that you have to play with, hey man, that's a good thing. But now let's talk about what's going to happen. Do you think DAZN with that level of DAZN has somebody that is bringing boxers? DAZN has boxers, but with Eddie Hearn, DAZN doesn't have any boxers. With the World Boxing Super Series, they have not only boxers, they have championship boxing matches, and they also have something that is not already being offered in the marketplace. To me, that sounds like an all-around better deal. So if they're going to start investing their money heavily, which route do you think that they're going to want to invest that $1 billion in that they have to spend? Because I've never doubted that DAZN has the ability, that has the money to spend. But just like Richard Schaefer said, look, these business guys are going to say, where's my return on my investment? And they're going to say it quick. They haven't sunk a penny into, from what I know, into boxing matches that have been aired on DAZN, right, with Eddie Hearn, but they didn't take any time to find another partner. They didn't take any time to go out and look for another partner in the boxing arena. They say, hey, we love you, Eddie. We're going to give you all this money, Eddie. We're looking forward to you. You know, we trust you. We know that you've got a lot of people in the UK. You're coming over to the United States. You're going to do good things, Eddie. And then they read the news and they see Errol Spence Jr. says, no, thank you. Mikey Garcia says, no, thank you. Adrian Bronner said, get GTFOH loud and clear, right? And you don't have people jumping to sign with him. And the best you can do is Dimitri Bivol. These guys at DAZN are going to say, man, who can give me a better product? Who can give me a better product? And the World Boxing Super Series, Sauerland, right? Sauerland, and I forget what's the name of the organization that put that together. Yeah, it's the World Boxing Super Series is owned and organized by Comosa AG, which is founded by Highlight Event and Entertainment AG, Modern Times Group MTG AG, and SPAG, which is a Sauerland promotion. I think those guys are out of Germany. Highlight Event and Entertainment is a majority shareholder. So they say, what can you guys do for me? We got a platform. We're trying to get into the United States. We got a partner. The partner, so far, the partner ain't shown us nothing yet. And now, prior to their launch, they can get to say, we have the World Boxing Super Series. We have all these current champions that are going to fight on our platform, and they're going to fight on our platform. And these are champions that otherwise you won't get to see on US TV. So it brings an extra value to the consumer. Sounds great for the World Boxing Super Series. It sounds great for DAZN. It sounds great for me as an avid hardcore boxing fan who will be buying the DAZN app. Thank you I guarantee you I'm not, and I get to do it because I don't have to say, I do not want to feed into this garbage that this promoter, this Matchroom Boxing promoter, is doing to boxing. Because the World Boxing Super Series is something that is directly opposed to the model of business that Matchroom is trying to pawn off on boxing fans, which is that everybody on it has to be signed to the same promoter. The World Boxing Super Series are a bunch of boxers, then they're not all signed to the same promoter. These boxing matches can happen in whatever country, right? Whatever country that the boxers agree to go in, right? Like Gassiev versus Usyk is going to be in the U.S., is going to be in Russia, right? I don't know who the promoter for that's going to be, but these guys don't all have the same promoters, which is one of the problems with getting like the big top-notch boxing champions, like the ones not Errol Spence. Errol Spence wanted to do a World Boxing Super Series. He could do it in a heartbeat because he doesn't have a promoter. Same thing with Deontay Wilder. If they had a heavyweight World Boxing Super Series, Deontay Wilder could jump in there in a heartbeat, right? I don't know what the division is going to be. I pray it's heavyweight. I pray that the third division is heavyweight. That would be just great, but they don't have any belts. The only kind of guy that could get into that World Boxing Super Series championship would be Deontay Wilder, because Anthony Joshua can't get in that because he's got a promoter. So anyway, long story short, sorry, Eddie. Sorry. You got to show and prove, man. You got to step up your game, dog, because you got a competition for somebody for that money on DAZN. And if you can't compete, I don't even know how he can compete with what the World Boxing Super Series is gonna put on in next year, the end of 2018 through 2019, in the bantamweight division, the 140-pound division, and whatever the third weight division that they're looking to do. Right? They've already done the cruiserweight. They've already done the 168-pound. I can't think. Maybe lightweight will be hard to do. Maybe they can do 126. Man, if they could put together if they could put on a super featherweight tournament, oh man, I'm buying it for sure. So anyway, man, sorry, Eddie. Sauerland upped you, dude. And here's the thing. And y'all can argue if you want. I know you got a lot of Eddie Hearn fans out there. If Eddie Hearn cannot put on fights to rival what the World Boxing Super Series can do, he can write it home. That's going to be a 2-year contract. It's not going to go to 4. And on top of it, they might just reject his boxing matches and reassign that money to the World Boxing Super Series, because that can happen too, depending on how the contract is written. It could be like a work order type of statement. Like, hey, we have X amount of money, but we're going to approve the boxing matches that you want to show. And if you approve it, we will fund it. And you have an opportunity to fill 16 dates unless we don't believe, that we want that bout. So anyway, and we can clearly see that that agreement was not exclusive to Eddie Hearn. DAZN like, hey man, I gotta go. Anyway, man, so that's good news for boxing, man. Bad news for Eddie though. And with that, I'm out. Peace.